So that vegan teacher's daughter is in scandal, and it's so clear to see why. She smashes up venues, she screams at the top of her lungs when she doesn't get her own way, acts absolutely outrageous in public, and genuinely puts the actual vegan teacher to shame. Her latest antics have led her to drag herself outside of the courtroom with her tail between her legs. So it's only right that we look and see how Tash Peterson is one of the worst creators on social media, full stop. So hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jake Baz, and well, Tash Peterson, she has gone through quite a lot in the past couple of weeks. She is a TikToker, an influencer, a naughty site model, and a genuine scab on the internet. She's most infamously known for coming up on the rise of Thatveganteacher, who we already all know, because we're used to seeing her do stuff like this.
I don't see any mention of vegan foods here at all. And you said the word hot dog without saying vegan over and over and over.
Not sure what Darman's got to do with veganism, but that's up to that vegan teacher herself. But that vegan teacher is known for her outrage to sort of cause scandal by any means by just screaming at the rooftops and just being really outlandish. And that vegan teacher's daughter is exactly like that, but worse. One thing to note is that Tash Peterson is not actually that vegan teacher's daughter. It's a very weird concept where basically she likes to call her mum a lot. I think she looks up to her. I don't know why. It's so weird, and I wouldn't want to see her as any sort of motherly figure in my life, full stop. Veganism is generally accepted as quite a good idea to actually get down if you can, but with statements like this from that vegan teacher's daughter, I don't know. She's definitely waving the flag in a good way.
Would you guys ever consider drinking human breast milk?
No.
Why not?
It's not really relevant, is it? And Tash's entire personality around everything that she does is to just try and cause controversy and drama by quote-unquote using her own body to promote veganism, which is a bit of a new one for me. I mean, it does cause outrage, that is for certain, but also you come across like a very weird scab. She also comes across as very outlandishly ignorant, and she really is rude to people. And this has always caught up with her at the end, and there's been a very recent update because she's ended up coming out of court and she's had her wrist slapped. We've got so much to expose on this weirdo, so if you do enjoy the video, please do hit the like and sub. I would love to see you back, and it helps out the channel a lot. So she's not only been in drama, she has actually been banned from leaving Western Australia after storming a Perth restaurant in protest. I will go through this, but I thought first we would want to see her words on it. What does she think about this entire situation? Because I'm sure she's got a lot to contribute.
I have been convicted with 3 criminal offences as a result of a protest that I did last year at a restaurant who had banned all vegans from their venue.
I think she might be misunderstanding the idea that you have to actually do something relatively illegal in a process to actually be convicted, you know? Also, what is this walk and talk? This is like Friday night news. I appreciate you trying to make it as much of a drama piece as you can, Tash.
I've received $2,500 in fines and a community-based order which requires me to do 30 hours of community service, and I am under this order for a period of 6 months, which means I cannot leave the state of Western Australia, and basically I'm in big shit if I commit another criminal offence.
There's a great idea that I've got coming to my head, and it's potentially don't commit another criminal offence. But this entire saga just turns out to be really, really embarrassing, and I don't get it. So this is why she's been arrested.
John Mountain confronts vegan activists outside his fire restaurant before he's tackled by an undercover security guard.
It's good that she's fighting for a cause, but to be honest, I'm the wrong person to fight with. It's not working.
Just a tiny bit of a scuffle, you know, but the reasons behind this is very odd. So as you can see, vegan activist Tash Peterson is prohibited from leaving Western Australia and has been slapped with $1,000 of fines. The notorious animal rights protester pleaded guilty to 2 trespass and disorderly behaviour charges last month and 2 separate standoffs in Colony. This is a pattern that you'll see with Tash. She will genuinely go and stick around places and just be a total nuisance until the police get called, and then she wonders, why is this all happening? Realistically, I think that she just really wants the attention, and this brings a lot of the attention to her, but it's sad, isn't it? But the reason why that she did this was because the restaurant owner had decided to ban vegans due to mental health reasons after a negative review was left by a plant-based diner. Like what? You didn't give any options to vegans, so then they were a little bit disappointed, so you decide to ban them all? I'm not going to say that you were asking for it, but you were asking for it. Because in a lot of these kind of sectors, you do have a lot of people who will be in the 1% that will try and ruin it for the 99% of people, and Tash is one of them, and you shouldn't have done this in Australia because she's coming for you. This then led that vegan teacher's daughter to storm inside the restaurant, and she was physically removed by Mr. Mountain and his staff because what are you doing here? She then, of course, had to return, and then she played footage of animals being slaughtered on a TV screen. And I really, really want to know from her how she thinks that this is potentially going to promote veganism, because it's not, is it? It's not. It's going to put everyone off because everyone's going to think you're as noxious as this.
He was just throwing me around completely. Quite a chaotic experience.
It's the second weekend in a row vegan activist Tash Peterson has confronted the celebrity chef.
Like, you're coming into someone's restaurant, you're going around, you're shouting, screaming at the top of your lungs, you're creating a massive public disorder problem, and then you're wondering why this happens. And let me tell you, these type of things, they're very, very notable for Miss Vegan Teacher Daughter. Because, like I say, she genuinely might actually be worse than the actual vegan teacher, because at least the vegan teacher does it at home. She'll scream at her own TV and just shout. Meanwhile, they're going out, they're causing all these problems, and they think that this is going to somehow promote veganism. Realistically, Tash, just put the fries in the bag. She's the perfect example of someone with a genuinely good message that just manages to want to ruin it for everyone. And she does this multiple times, like I say. All of her content's really odd, it's really weird, and there's so many instances of her just going way over the top. Like, for example, when she had a previous altercation and she got a police notice, she burnt it on her YouTube channel. Because obviously, you're going to get on the good side of the police doing that, right?
Over the past 3 years, as a disruptive animal rights activist, I have continually received criminal charges, convictions, and banning notices prohibiting me from entering multiple businesses and premises around Western Australia.
I mean, it's quite obvious why, isn't it? And I think she blurs the lines of activism when there is... this is not activism, this is just being a prick in public.
Police have visited me on a few occasions. Firstly, to advise me that they were going to be charging me for disorderly conduct, trespass, and refusal to leave a licensed venue.
Why does it feel like that she's on fucking Love Island? Is she getting voted out? And there's no love here. This is pure Mug Island.
No one can stop me from bringing light to the largest Holocaust in history, where trillions of non-human people are brutally murdered simply for human pleasure.
I'm sorry, this is the problem. Non-human people. I don't think they exist, love. I'm not sure you've got the right memo there. And she also uses these terms such as the unfortunate cost, you know? With veganism, they have a good point. There are quite a few negatives to veganism, and there is also quite a few contradictory things that go on, but obviously you love the humility of animals. Everyone loves animals. But to go and call them non-human people, that's a little bit far. It's rage bait and it's genuinely quite sad. But here you go, there's the grand finale. She throws this piece of paper, which probably isn't the actual piece of paper that she's been given, into the fire. Wow, well done, well done. You've stuck it to the man there. You've definitely shown exactly what you're aiming to promote. But don't worry, I've not even shown you remotely the most outrageous points here. Because we're only scratching the surface of the levels that she will go down to. A microphone, a banana microphone. I can't look past it. I know a lot of these naughty site models use it as to be like, oh, look at me. We're also using bananas in other orifices. But come on, just use a better gimmick, please. Because yeah, she does try to just cause outrage in any way that she can. One example here is after this situation that happened where she's been banned, she's posted this on social media, saying that she was convicted of these criminal offences that she participated in and what she got. Then going on to say, 3 years ago when I was about to return from a holiday in Victoria, I was denied entry into Western Australia due to COVID lockdown restrictions. Then saying that this is because it was a police sergeant that didn't want her back there. Are you sure you just want let back in because of COVID lockdown restrictions like you say? I guess she's saying it for a bit of rage bait, but it's just embarrassing, isn't it? Going on to say, it seems that Western Australia can't decide whether it wants me out to good or to keep me for good. And coming from a British person, please stay over there. In her most recent content that we will go through some more of, because it really is a goldmine of just blind ignorance, as well as a bit of moral pivoting, you know. It doesn't really seem like you're reading the room very well, Tash. She spends a lot of time going round on the streets and trying to argue with people who are not vegan, and for some reason, she seems to always choose children, which is not only good when you think of the fact that, well, she does a certain site that I can't say or I'll get demonetized. It's just a little bit bad optics, innit? On these videos, she just loves to argue with children and teenagers and people who really aren't in the best position to argue with someone who has been professionally arguing for about 5 years. It's like, of course they're not going to win an argument with you, and you know that, and that's why you do it.
Hey, Tash, do you do this just for attention?
Yeah, attention to the animals.
Well, unfortunately, that's how, like, the animal's life works, you know? Like,
I'm sure the only reason that you do it is for attention of the animals. That's why you're in a sexually suggestive cow outfit out in the public. Yeah. That's definitely the only reason why. It might not be, potentially, because you want a couple more subs on your naughty site. Because you're promoting something that you love, but you're also promoting that, aren't you? By definition. The world's a lot more progressive. You can definitely do whatever you want, like these certain sites. And it's totally fine, and it's totally accepted. But you can't hide behind a veil and say that you're not at least potentially promoting that. But you can't say that to a kid, can you?
unfortunately, that's how, like, the animal's life works, you know? Like, they make babies, unfortunately, they get killed, but that's just how it works. Like, they're not doing anything besides producing meat for us and chicken for us and milk for us and eggs.
Do you think they willingly walk into a slaughterhouse and want to be on their head to give their bodies for you to eat?
What a kind thing to say to a child. It's just outrageous. Like, why would you ever speak to a child like this? How is that going to even remotely get the person on side with you? Where are the optics here?
I have a banana as your line.
I'll tell you in a sec. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, because they can't speak, so...
Very perfectly cutting it off before he manages to make a sentence. Also, I'm sure you'll tell her in a sec the exact reason why. It's nothing to do with the fact that certain naughty site models also do that. Kind of like a calling card, you know, just making it out there. This is there. It's just so weird. And the argument that the kid makes, obviously, it's not going to be f***ing brilliant because he's a kid, but she's just hitting him with the what if, and cutting him off intentionally. How she thought this were a good clip for social media, I don't know. Also, like I say, remember that she has done this across the majority of her existence on social media. There's one example here of her jumping onto a sports stage, because obviously that's the best thing to do, leading to her getting scolded just a little bit.
The animal rights activist who ran onto the ground during WA's first ever AFL Women's Derby says she's not sorry for the stadium stunt. Her actions have drawn harsh criticism. She's been banned from Optus for 3 years and is now facing a $12,000 fine. But the 26-year-old says she would do it again.
So it's a monumental day. It's the first ever televised sporting event for this certain sport with women, and obviously she needs to go and steal the shine there. Realistically, what she probably did is she found out that this would be probably one of the easiest things that she could do out of all the sporting events, and just went for it. Nice to see that she's got morality in other aspects of her life.
And they did, but not in the way we thought they would.
And that was a wonderful finish, but it was all about this clunk in the goal square.
You can't even see the flag. You're telling me that she spent so much time and effort planning this and she didn't even get a double-sided f***ing flag? There's not planning, and then there's that.
That read right to rescue.
And the purpose of my action was on behalf of the animals who are suffering immensely in abhorrent conditions.
Fremantle midfielder Kiara Bowers laid her 19th tackle for the game to stop the activist in her tracks.
I mean, she didn't really fight it, did she? She gave up the second that it came about. And not only that, do you know I mentioned a minute ago about morality? Well, there's this.
I don't apologise.
The historic clash was raising money for victims of our nation's bushfire crisis, with all ticket proceeds going to the Australian Red Cross.
I'm willing to put myself out there for these animals because, yeah, I've seen their suffering and I want to be a voice for them.
So yeah, it's a charity event. And it just screams of just blind stupidity that you would go and do this, considering it is a charity event. This is for something that is a good cause. It's not like anything else that you're going on about, like with the certain restaurants. They're not banning vegans. They've not said they're going to ban vegans. I just find this so weird that she would pivot to a charity event, and probably she pivoted, like I said, because it would be the easiest thing that she could jump over and get into. Surely no one's going to be a knob during a charity match. Well, there's one of them. Here we go. Like I said, the problem is that she does have a very good cause at heart in the amount of animal cruelty that is going on in these certain areas. It's not right, but she does it in a way which is so obnoxious, so ironic, considering that this is a charity event, and she pivots it constantly to, this is not about me, this is about the animals. Well, why are you promoting yourself constantly during these stunts? It is legitimately cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's really ironic, and I don't know what is she planning? Why is she doing it? She's just evil. With this, she faced a $12,000 fine, and really, it should have been a little bit more, considering that she's done it so many times since, and nothing seems to deter her from it. And this really made me want to pick into the brain and the mind of Tash Peterson. Why does she do these stuff that is so outlandish, so ironic? Why would you do it, full stop? And some of the stuff that she says around this in these sort of candid interviews is just further peddling the idea that I think that she's doing this just for the money.
For 5 years, Tash Peterson has been a regular feature on Perth streets.
If you're not vegan, you are an animal abuser, but this is not your fault. These industries have lied to you.
These industries have lied to you? Well, I think I know that if I'm getting a bit of chicken, it's probably gonna be a chicken. That is the most insane bit, though, that she actually said it's not your fault, because every single other time it seems to be our fault.
I'm definitely not afraid. I mean, I use my body to raise awareness for those who have no bodily autonomy, whether that be topless or close to being nude. And I think it works brilliantly to raise awareness for animals.
I don't think it's really anything to do with her body. I think it's more the fact that she's just this super obnoxious person, if I'm honest. Maybe it attracts a couple more stares on the street, but also you're doing practically public nudity in a public space, which I find that a little bit odd. Not like you've got kids walking around or anything. Well, you're interviewing them, aren't you? If they're there.
The animal lover continued to eat meat until she was 23.
I watched a documentary called Food Choices, and I immediately changed overnight. I went to the supermarket the next day, I bought soy milk, all the plant-based alternatives, and I was so morally motivated that I knew that I was going to be vegan for life. I never wanted to consume or use animal products again.
I'm proud of you for that, but a lot of people are genuinely unable to have that sort of thing, especially when it comes to like money, because it is a lot more expensive to be vegan and to have a very good diet. And as she says, she promotes her naughty site so that she's able to go out and be a political activist. Not the most conventional thing I've ever heard, but fair enough. But I don't understand how she's then also doing stuff like going out on the streets with a banana in her hand and somehow not taking the link of that, well, maybe she's also, like, by definition, promoting both at the same time.
It should be shocking, and yeah, the more controversial it is, the more attention it's going to get. And that's so important to spread a message.
And it's immediately obvious that the crowd is not all vegan.
I love meat, I'll be honest, so yeah, I'm a steak eater. I think it's unnecessary. We've been eating meat for a long time and we're an agricultural society, so...
Why the f*** are the news interviewing people outside like, oh, I eat meat, yep, I eat meat. What has that got to do with it? How does that further the argument? How does that counteract it? What? But there we go, expose it. Drama by any means. That's all she wants to get out of all of this. She just wants to be able to send her message across by just being so obnoxious. But I don't understand how people like this don't genuinely realise that doing one thing in a certain way is going to off-put the majority of people that are ever going to be interested in turning into their light. The meat industry is a massive moral dilemma which has so many problems around it, but it doesn't excuse anything that you're doing for attention. Only looks one way. It's definitely not true that any controversy is better than no controversy. It really isn't true. Because I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, well, she's just a arsehole. And I don't want to be interested in reading into further about what her actual aim and mission is. But I guess I have to because I'm here. Like I said, she gets called Thatveganteacher's daughter because she ends up really riding That Vegan Teacher, which is just brilliant because two terrible people get in a room together, it makes everything better, doesn't it? Visiting a church together, which I mean, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I wonder how they feel when religions sacrifice animals. Is that bit missing? It's just undeniable that everything that she's doing is just for rage bait, just to try and get attraction to herself and get the attention onto her, which then benefits her monetarily, as well as pushing this message which really gets pushed in a wrong way because of the way that you do it. I'm a meat eater and I'm very blissfully ignorant, but I'm not going to, as a blissfully ignorant person, go and have a look at this stuff and then want to look any further. This stuff reminds me a lot of, if you remember around the 2015, 2016 times, where there was a lot of people that were owning these feminists because these feminists were being stupid and shouting and things. If you aren't a feminist, you are an ignorant person. Like, that is by definition. I am very much a feminist, but would I want to prescribe to the beliefs of these people that go in shouting matches with each other and just scream at each other? No. And the exact same thing happened there. There's a lot of, like, especially men who will not look into this further because they don't understand or realize. They'll just hear the word feminism and think, oh, they're all stupid. When realistically, if you aren't a feminist, you're the stupid one. And there is so many instances of That Vegan Teacher's daughter where she will go and do stuff and it's just embarrassing and she can't read a room at all. One example's here where she's very kindly titled it Vegans Ruin Children's Party. Because she does, and because she does, she thinks this is a good title for a video. Like, I ruined a child's party. Big whoop. Honestly, she's such a prick.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a blatant act of animal abuse and animal cruelty. Beings are subjected to slavery. If you were in their position, would you want to be paraded around like an object? These innocent beings are no different to our beloved dogs and cats.
Like, they're a little bit dressed up because they're at a party and they're getting petted whilst you're talking. They look happy. They look like they're enjoying themselves. And this is the problem. It's so embarrassing. Some kid's just trying to enjoy his 12th birthday and you're there screaming at your top of the lungs because there's some horses that are around them. Like, they're not food. They're not going to go and scran them now. What are you doing?
What you're doing with the kids sitting here? And the kids?
They're paraded for entertainment. They're objectified.
You're a boyfriend in the background. They're objectified. It's a fucking horse.
Is it for your YouTube channel?
No, it's not for anything. It's just evidence.
Lying to police? Oh, it's nothing. No, it's just evidence. Evidence of what? Evidence of a horse having some flowers on it? Also, it's a good job considering she said that it didn't get uploaded to a YouTube channel, but right. Oh no, it did. Maybe if you're going to promote things that are very serious, maybe at least be truthful. Because one lie, an entire argument can just disappear.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Thank you, Natasha.
That's nothing
Thank
compared
you.
to their life as that they're living right now.
Are you going to leave now?
Yeah, I'll be probably.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're going to leave now. You got your little bit, aren't you? Like, I don't get it at all. What are you achieving by doing this? By going into a kid's party and screaming at the top of your lungs about some fucking horses with a couple of roses on them being objectified. I'd understand if they're there throwing them on the Barbie, but they're not, are they? She's there not only causing a disturbance, but by shouting she is going to actually distress the horses, which might cause problems such as acting out because of the fact of she's doing that. I thought you love animals. Why are you acting around them like this? And like I said, there's so many instances of her doing this, and not only doing this, clickbaiting it as well after the fact. It's embarrassing. So sad. And I think she really needs to read a room. This is no way to promote anything in a good light. And there's quite a lot of instances of her not promoting stuff in a good light, and this is one example of just weirdness. Why would you say it?
Would you guys ever consider drinking human breast milk?
No.
Why not?
That's just weird.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes, you do.
And wouldn't you think that's more weird, drinking another species' breast milk?
No, but it's refabricated in the factory.
But if the human milk was put in a factory, would you have it?
Nah.
Why cow's milk?
Tastes better. Yeah.
What if I told you human milk tasted better? Would you have it?
No. Maybe. Nah, I'm not saying that. No.
What?
No. I'm saying. No, maybe if it's not my mum's.
Like, what is the argument here at all? What is she achieving by doing this? She got some random drunk lads off the side and just tried to pull the breast milk, Ali. I don't know. Surely if she was read up on this, she would understand the way that the milk is totally different to human breast milk. Like, yeah, they do work in a similar premise. They're on this world for this similar premise, but you actually cannot not milk a cow because they will end up passing away. This is because of the way that we bred them to accompany us humans, and I mean, it's a little bit ironic, isn't it? With the stuff that she does, there is just not any really rhyme or reason. What point are you bringing across? You're not really actually projecting a point or any, like, valid arguments. You're just saying, oh, would you drink breast milk? Because if you would, why are you drinking cow's milk? It's so weird. It's so poor. It's such a bad example. And I'm sorry, the banana with, with a pop shield on is fucking hilarious. Why? Oh, I just realised she's got a pop filter on a banana while she's already got a microphone on, so she's just holding that for the sake of it. Maybe it's because, like I said, it's a universal ticker to go to a certain site. I don't know, it's just like rage bait, and rage bait is the lowest form of entertainment possible. Got another one here.
So are you against animal or...
Yeah, besides dogs.
What do you mean, besides
She's
dogs?
asking, are you against them? Oh, no.
So you're only against animal abuse for dogs, including humans? Humans are animals.
Well, they're not. The only human that's an animal is
Humans
you.
are animals.
You're the only animal.
I'm the only animal.
Yeah.
Right.
You got a
So you don't
banana,
even know basic biology.
How are we animals? Do we
You
look like
don't
animals?
understand basic biology. Humans are animals. We're biological animals, and we come under kingdom Animalia, and we're mammals. No, I don't want a bite of the victim. I'm not a disgusting piece of shit.
And that there is how you prevent anyone from ever looking up any sort of vegan trope ever. I'm not a disgusting piece of shit. Why would I eat that stuff? So then, everyone who actually eats meat is a disgusting piece of shit. So if you're watching this now and maybe you're eating and it might be a little bit of meat, you're disgusting. Go crawl back in your cave, you brute. But this is the thing, innit? She gets these people that really have no argument. They don't care. They genuinely don't care about what you're saying. And they will just wait and wait and wait. And she will peck and peck and peck for no reason. Bring absolutely no actual points to the pot for, apart from calling someone a stupid piece of shit. Then it's like, oh, I owned them, and this is definitely worth a clip on YouTube. And yeah, this might be uploaded as a YouTube short, but the only thing that's short around this is my temper because I am losing the plot. And this therefore becomes like one of the largest cell phones that you can ever see on social media, and it's not going to promote anything apart from just division and causing anger. And surely that's not what you want if you want to promote this political activism. Or do you have a few other things at the fore, Tash? And like I said, Tash Peterson has been doing this for absolutely years, and another example of that is her getting kicked out of a supermarket for being a bit of a dosser.
Excuse me, what did you just call me?
Asshole.
Why?
Because you're not complying.
Complying to what?
Mask men. We're all
What's the
supposed to-
difference between us yesterday and then today?
Because it came in last time.
What, are we suddenly infectious now?
You have to wear a mask. Yeah, but you don't.
Under what legislation?
Now, this is the most embarrassing thing. Like, she is legitimately in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, refusing to wear a mask against the regulations. And she's doing it, I don't know why, to prove a point about veganism. I'm not sure what proving this actually does. There's been an arsehole, but I don't think COVID has any sort of relation, one bit, towards, animals being slaughtered. It's a little bit different, innit? But that's the thing, innit? Gets a bit more attention.
There was no mandate for wearing a mask in this IGA in Denmark, but today there is, and somehow we got into the store because we said we're not wearing a mask. They're calling the cops on us now, and there are so many people with masks on calling us idiots, assholes, and yeah, we were physically removed from the other IGA that we went in.
So that's just a lie, innit? That is just a lie. You're filming the entire time. If you are going to go and get a lot of footage for this stuff and you want to try and expose how everyone's doing you wrong, you'll obviously show the footage of that, but you're not showing the footage of that because someone's called you an arsehole and then everyone's calling you an arsehole now. Just being controversial for the sake of it, just ruining everyone's days and also putting people at risk considering the times that they were in this. But one thing that Tash does do is in a lot of her videos, she will say that if you are not a vegan, you are an animal abuser, which once again, a brilliant way to bring people into a very good movement. And it's something that she genuinely just can't get away from. Perfectly described in this interview here, which I'm sorry, if you don't know Piers Morgan, he's an arsehole himself, so it's two arseholes battling at each other.
Beyond Meat shares crashed 95%. Most vegan companies in this country, lack of consumer demand. I think people have got a bit fed up with it. And I think one of the reasons is they're fed up with being shouted at. You're one of these people that runs into restaurants and plays, sounds from screaming animals and abattoirs and so on. I know you care passionately about it. I think it's very off-putting. It just annoys people. It has the opposite effect to what you hope.
I don't think so at all. I think it brings more attention to the animal.
But unfortunately, the arsehole Piers Morgan makes a very good point that people are giving up because of the shoutiness of everything. It's so loud, it's so obnoxious, everyone is getting put off by it. And you end up having posts like this which shows a passing of an animal in an abattoir as well as her in a skimpy sort of outfit, a bit of lingerie, saying that if you're not vegan, once again, you are an abuser to animals, and I really don't get it. And now I'm going to show you exactly why this is the case, that I think that she uses the majority of this promotion in self-interest. It's nothing to do with the actual movement, because she's caught in the middle of a defamation trial at the moment, and some of the documents that have come out have really just exposed the entire thing and shows how much of a sham some of her stuff is. As this defamation case exposes the amount of money that she makes on fans, which, I mean, once again, it doesn't really matter in that sense. Do what you want to do, but maybe don't project it in a purely this is for the animals, considering this. So she earned more than $400,000 in 21-22, but declared just $70,000 of that business earnings to the Australian tax office. So she's a money launderer, she's getting all this money, and then she's saying, oh, I've made like 10% of that. Once again, a great way to show that you are very morally just and you're doing this all for the right reasons, Tash. But this is the kicker for me. When her bank statements were mentioned in court, she could only point to one $100 donation to an animal charity, the Western Australia reported. And of course, this isn't just like a one-size-fits-all thing. Obviously, like, you don't have to make charitable donations to spread a good cause, but you would think that because of the amount of money that she's making for one, and how invested she is in this entire scheme that she's on about, you think she might throw a little bit more than $100 to charity, especially if she wants to save on tax, but she wants to save on tax by dodging the tax man, clearly. As $130,000 was missing that financial year from 2021-2022. So, yeah, she's just nicked the money. Mr. Bennett suggested the increase in subscribers coincided with the high-profile stunts that Miss Peterson carried out, including luxury stores, Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And I think that's the case as well. She managed to get more subscribers, so then she managed to do bigger, more extravagant stunts, and then the cycle just repeats itself in some sort of like self-fulfilling pyramid scheme. Though the activist was only able to point to one definite donation to an animal rights charity in her bank statement, she also said she used a PayPal account to make donations. Very odd that she says that, but then doesn't actually show the proof in the lawsuit. Yeah, that's a bit odd, isn't it? Also saying that some of her expenses include receipts of buying a new car, holiday in Italy, transfer to money for a boyfriend, and a jet ski loan to her father and brother, the court heard. It just totally shatters the perception of what she thinks that she's bringing to the table, because she isn't. She is essentially money laundering a massive amount of money so that she's able to go and have these extravagant stuff, and then every so often she'll do a little bit in a shop where she screams at someone and calls it a day. It doesn't mean that she cares about animals. She probably does. I think everyone should care about animals, but I think she's being a bit weird with it. But then it also, once again, makes the statements around like how she came up on this stuff, how she's been brought into this massive light around the situation, just a little bit disingenuous.
I experienced in my journey of going vegan overnight, I found it quite easy. I was still able to eat all my favourite foods, but just in a vegan version. For example, I think, like I'd have like chicken curries for dinner at night, and then I just swapped out the chicken flesh for chickpeas and tofu.
Her obsession with using flesh, it's a bit grim, innit? I mean, that's the intention, but I don't know if I'm going to have chicken for dinner now.
There's just like seeing the abundance of vegan foods in the supermarkets over the past 6 years of being vegan is absolutely amazing. Like, there's honestly an alternative for everything now, and you can find it in your local supermarkets. You don't have to be, really going out of your way to do to find these products.
I think the problem is a lot of them are quite expensive, and especially like when she's going up to kids on the street and she's having a go at them for not being vegan. Who says that their mum and dad can afford that? There's definitely abilities for you to limit your intake of meat, that's for sure, but not all the time, not with everything. Everyone is under a lot of stress, especially in like the UK at the moment. She really tries to take it as a one-size-fits-all approach, but really it's not like that. And I don't know whether she's been siphoned into her own thinking around this situation, or she's just over time gotten a little bit more thoughtful of it, but it makes no sense. And the problem is as well, everything that she does comes across as so disingenuous, like this.
How long have you been vegan for?
Just over 7 years now.
So why didn't you realise that people were slaughtering animals beforehand and now you're doing like all this?
Well, of course I knew that animals were sent to slaughterhouses, like for people to eat them, but just like you guys.
Did you like eating meat? No, you can tell the truth.
I'd say, yeah, some animal flesh I did enjoy eating, but I don't think there's a justification to abuse and murder animals. And
like I said, she's taking these young children and teenagers once again on the street and going up and talking to them because it's easy bait. It's easy bait to go at.
I'm just going to say,
no worries.
Meat does taste good, but I respect
Vegan meat tastes good too, so stop abusing animals.
It's just the backhanded nature of everything that she does. She seemed, in this clip, she actually seemed pretty nice and pretty, about it. And then the second that someone even throws a little bit of shade in her direction, she's like, oh, well, piss off, you prick. It feels all faux pas, and it's not right. But the mainstream media is also partly to blame for this sort of stuff because they will get people like her on the platform, and they'll also get some ridiculous person to ask some ridiculous, weird questions about it. Veganism is inherently a good thing, but for some reason, they seem to want to try and pick at it and pick at it and pick at it. And obviously, I presume it's something to do with the way that Tash carries herself.
Natasha Peterson, thanks so much for time tonight. Now, I guess you must know I don't agree with the way you go about things or the fact that you choose your diet, but I also respect the...
Like, what? I disagree with the way that you choose your diet. Like, why? She just wants to not eat meat. You can't really disagree on a moral level because it is literally inherently more moral to be vegan. Like, I don't know where they're pulling these people off, maybe from like Fiverr or something to do some stupid little interview with someone, but come on, man, you're better than this.
These aren't rational and sensible ways of promoting your cause, I don't think.
We definitely wouldn't be having this conversation right now if activists didn't disrupt and do these controversial acts to bring light to the largest injustice in history.
Where is the logic? Because I know there are plenty of things in life, such as, for example, Pride, where you've got peaceful protests, which really aren't even protests in a sense, they're more of a movement. And it really does promote positive thinking around certain topics. All negativity does is spawn more negativity, and it's also going to make something inherently more polarizing. You're going to have two sides of the coin. It's right to be out there. It's right to be going and promoting these sort of things because it really is a better thing on the environment. But like I said, the best sort of conversations that I've had with people around like going vegetarian, going veganism, are with people who'd speak to you rationally and not just call you a horrible person for merely existing. Like, read a room, please. I've got another example of that kid just like being stupid because obviously he's a child and doesn't really understand it, and she obviously takes this and thinks, oh, let's clip it.
I agree, it's sad. Yeah, but like, that's just the animal's life. Like, I'm not eating no vegan burger or something like that.
Why not?
It's not real meat.
Why does it have to be real?
Because it tastes better.
How do you know?
Because I've tried to beat a vegan burger before. I threw it in the bin, mate.
Does taste justify murdering someone?
Yeah.
Does any form of pleasure justify murdering someone?
What does that mean?
Well, some serial killers might say they find it pleasurable to humans.
Yeah, because they're schizophrenic.
Like, why has she uploaded this and thought that this is a big cell phone? It's a cell phone to herself. She's so embarrassing. But I will tell you one brilliant thing that I did manage to find on her, and that is her merch. I actually can't show a bit of it because there's a couple that are very mean, like mean-spirited. I don't understand why you'd ever wear them. I guess she's getting the extreme people on board. But as you can see here, we've got the Eat Pussy Not Animals t-shirt. Yeah. On Etsy, of all places, she's literally promoted it. $50 on Etsy, right, for like a $10 t-shirt with a stupid logo on it. Obviously, it's a little OF fan promotion, you know. It's just so sad. And her entire social medias are just filled of it. On Instagram, it's full of her promoting the same old type of stuff. On YouTube, it's one of them self-fulfilling prophecies where she will go around in like basically lingerie or like sexy outfits, and she will go and parade on the streets talking about veganism, which then obviously feeds into her OF. She's got a pair of bollocks on her, I'll give her that. And it's just all so fake and brought together, and it really does upset me a little bit for the actual genuine people that do care about veganism, that do care about animal rights and welfare, and they're getting drowned out by someone like this who's just going to polarize everyone and make all of the gammons never want to come anywhere near any sort of vegan food and make them snub their nose up at it even. And it's so frustrating when she plays the counterpoints to these sort of arguments. Like, we got a tweet here: vegans are often labelled as extreme and crazy, whilst those who label them pay for the unaliving of the animals. I'd rather be labelled crazy for standing against the certain type of nasty words around non-human people. Once again, with the non-human people, what the fuck is a non-human person? I think she's just trying to create new words now. It's not really going well. And then, yeah, showing this thumbnail here, which is from a YouTuber from a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it is. I mean, obviously she's just nicked it and not given any sort of credits for it. I really think she should read the room and understand what she's doing, but realistically, she knows exactly what she's doing. She knows what she's going for. Rage bait does really work in some certain areas, and she's going for it with the bleachers, despite not actually paying any donation to charity apart from $100. You know, there you go, have it. I've only made 400 grand and declared 270,000 of it. And her Twitter is just littered with the exact same stuff. Tash Peterson is purely there to, in my opinion, promote this extreme agenda around veganism, really tarnishing actually the reputation of a normal vegan and a normal vegetarian. At the same time she's doing this, she's literally fighting against her own cause, and fair play to her. She is a vegan. She has been eating vegan for years, but she is ostracizing a lot of other people from ever going near any sort of vegan food. I find that a lot of her stuff is a sham, and quite a lot of it is used in a self-fulfilling prophecy to promote her own naughty site, and then by definition get more chances to go out and do stuff, as well as to enjoy life a little with your boyfriend. I'm not really sure what she stands for, to be honest. She uses a lot of words to try and make it seem a lot worse than what it is, and I mean, that's the problem, because in the face of it, actually the use of animals in these sort of houses, slaughterhouses, is really bad. There is a lot of moral dilemmas that go on here, and inherently the meat industry is a very bad thing. She needs to sort her act out. She needs to actually pay her taxes next time, and I really think she needs to grow out of this phase, but it's not going to happen, is it? Realistically, the only way that a meat eater is going to convert is if they're given something that isn't in an obnoxious, and you are the worst person in the world for doing what you're doing right now. You can't live off guilt, because guilt consumes you. And I think it's safe to say that Tash Peterson is a loser and potentially one of the worst influencers on the internet. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I would love to see you back. We're a small channel. Get it to 30k. I definitely want you there. And yeah, I've been Jake Baz. See you later. Take care.